What is up, YouTube? Welcome to the second episode of Shaner's Shop. Today we'll be installing some can lights and then getting the cabinets prepped for some crown molding and then for primer. So here we have our kitchen. Welcome to the life of a new YouTuber who forgets to take videos. I've already installed the lights, but I'll kind of go over what I did. As you can see, the yellow line is the old wire. So there's a switch underneath that cabinet that ran over to the single light that was lighting up this entire kitchen. So I was fortunate enough that light went right by where I was going to be installing a light. So when I cut the hole for the new can light, you can see that blue cross is where the existing wiring was. I was able to tap into that and then ran a light from that hole to the hole where the second light would go, to the hole where the third would go, then to the fourth. Connect them all with wire nuts. Fortunately, the lights came with these. In another video, I'll try to go a little bit more in depth on this. But yeah, pretty easy. Just kind of connect them all, make a system, and there you have your lights. They definitely help out with the lighting in the kitchen. And then we'll move on to a little bit better video of prepping the cabinets and then the crown molding. So first, you can see these cabinets have a trim piece in all the corners and joints where they meet. I don't really like this, and it's laminate. Didn't think it'd get painted very well. So here I'll walk through kind of removing them. First, to kind of get a screwdriver behind to kind of create a gap, and you'll see, I don't know why I went this far with the screwdriver, but I will eventually pull out the pry bar. Makes it a lot easier to get the trim off. Now this will leave a few small holes, not a big deal. I'll go back and patch that with putty that I'll show you here in a minute. And then we'll end up running a bead of caulk between the cabinets and the wall. I will be painting the walls, so I'm not going to be too concerned with getting any primer or paint on the walls, as those will get painted. Kind of here's a better idea of what I'm doing. These trim pieces were caulked to the wall. In order to prevent the paint from tearing off and the paper of the drywall from tearing off, you do want to take a knife and kind of cut that bead of caulk before you start prying this trim piece off the wall, or it won't go too well for you. There you can see the one other kind of boob light that was in this kitchen. That'll get replaced as well. And now that we've got all the trim pieces off, we can get started on our crown molding. Here I'm just kind of showing you an idea of what the crown molding will look like at the end. You can't really get a great idea just by me holding it up. Don't know what I was trying to do here. Here's the most important part. You can see the cabinet faces stick out a little bit further than the cabinet frames. This will cause some trouble. As I'm showing you here, there will be a gap below your crown molding, and your angles will be thrown off. As you can see, here's the piece I cut, and you can kind of see that gap that's created by that. So all I'm going to do is mark out about a 1/4 inch off the top, and I will end up cutting that out with an oscillating tool. I've got a Makita oscillating tool, love it. I'll cut a notch in all the corners, as you can see there, of all the exposed corners where a miter for the crown molding will go. From there, it just comes down to cutting. You can do this two ways. You can do the way I did, which is set it up there and cut at a direct 45-degree angle with no bevel on the miter, or you can mess with the angles of your miters and your bevels. Totally up to you. I went the easier method and just set my miter and cut it at a 45-degree angle. And then kind of something I was pointing out here, it's a lot easier if you cut your angle first, especially when you're not on a double angled edge piece. You can cut your mitered in first, then you measure from the inside corner of the crown molding to your total length. You'll mark it, and then you can adjust your saw to a 0-degree miter, and you'll just cut it flat, and you'll be good to go. This works well, obviously, for when you don't have double mitered edges, but you will. So you can kind of get an idea of what that crown molding will look like. I think it will totally dress up these cabinets. I think once you paint it, it'll look a little bit better. All the nail holes I'm just filling in with some Fasten Light. It's a 1-step putty, really easy to use. Put it on there, I lightly sand it before I prime. But priming and painting the cabinets will be in a separate video, so stick along for that. And then here, all the cabinets complete with all the crown molding across the top. Again, it looks a little funny when your cabinets aren't painted yet, but I definitely think that it will really dress up these cabinets more so than just the plain plain tops. And you can see where those cutout edges worked out well for me. No issues, looked good. Again, like I said, wait for the primer to paint, because I think that'll be where this really comes to show its glory. The next video we'll go over cleaning and painting the cabinets. As you can see, I'll be using some crud cutter, then lightly sanding, then we'll get ready for primer and paint. I greatly appreciate you sticking along for the rest of this series of finishing the cabinets. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.